Hi, we're here with New York Times and USA Today best-selling author Brenda Novak. Thank you for joining us, Brenda.
So excited to be here.
We're going to do a short interview with some questions, so I hope you tune in and enjoy what you hear. So Brenda, you've written so many different genres over your 60 plus books. You've written contemporary romance, romantic suspense, historicals, and now you're venturing into mainstream women's fiction.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite genre among them? And if so, why?
Yeah, that's a tough decision to make, or a tough question to answer. I love women's fiction right now. I think it's because it's the new, latest, greatest thing in my life. You know, it kind of gives me that bigger canvas, gives me a chance to explore bigger themes, a meatier book, maybe some other relationships besides spotlighting that main romantic relationship. So I think women's fiction probably would edge out the others, but that's tough. It's tough to pick a favorite because I love the puzzle that's involved with the romantic suspense. I really love figuring out that I never know who done it before I start, so I get to sort of figure that out as I go along. And I love, my roots in romance. I mean, I love that happy ever after and love seeing how they get there. So I'm an eclectic reader, so I seem to be an eclectic writer too, but I love them all.
What would you say is your favorite thing about being an author?
I mean, it'd probably be easier to answer what I don't like because I like almost everything. I mean, I love getting up in the morning. I can't wait. I'm one of those rare people probably who are excited when it's kind of mean to say I'm excited when my husband leaves to go to work. Not because I don't love him or enjoy him, but then it's my time. I get to get on my computer and dig into my work. And I love escaping into the world that I'm creating. I love reading what I've created the day before and editing it. I love that polishing process of just working with the words. It's hard to describe that. But I love working in my pajamas. I mean, what could be better than that? I love that I can work anywhere. I could be in the middle of on an island in the middle of the ocean, and I could still, as long as I have internet, I can work and I can send in my stuff. So gosh, I mean, and what wouldn't I like? I can't even think of anything of what I don't like about being an author. I love getting out and meeting readers, and I love seeing their reaction to my work, especially when you get emails that say things like, I was going through a tragic time and you carried me away. I mean, those are so touching, and it makes you feel like your job is worthwhile. I can't think of anything I don't like, honestly.
Well, then you're not going to like this next question.
I best have to think of something.
I was going to ask, what do you feel is your biggest challenge? What is the biggest challenge for you as being an author?
That one actually, there is a challenge because writing is challenging. But my biggest challenge is I'm such a driven individual, and I love to finish what I start. Like, I can't let go until I'm done. Well, a book is so long that if you just sat down and insisted on finishing, obviously you're not going to finish it that day. So I have to break away, and that's the hardest thing for me, is thinking bite by bite. That old, you can eat an elephant, one bite at a time. I have to remind myself of that constantly because I'm so like, I gotta finish this. I'm just into it, Yeah. So probably just pacing myself so that I don't work myself to death is probably my hardest challenge there.
Do you have a favorite book that you've ever written?
I do. It's hard to choose your favorite book because each one means something different to you. But probably the one that hits me hardest, right in the heart, is This Heart of Mine. And it's part of the Whiskey Creek series, and for some reason I've attached this significance to it with my son, because the woman, it's a story about a woman who is freshly out of prison. She's been wrongfully convicted, and she had a child. She was pregnant when she was going through the trial. She had a child that they, of course, took away from her. So this entire time that she spent in prison has been spent waiting for this time where she can know her son. So, I would just daydream before I started writing this book. I would daydream about it, and it would make me cry. It would make me tear up. I'd be on a plane or something. And I'm sure people are thinking, what is wrong with this woman? Like, I'm not sad, really. I'm just imagining. That's probably my all-time favorite, because even when I read that opening scene again, I don't often go back and read my books because I'm always moving on to the next one. But when I go back and read that one, it still gets me right here. So I think that's probably my favorite.
So you have your own book group on Facebook with thousands of engaged members. So you get to talk directly with readers a lot about what they're reading, what they're enjoying. What, in your experience of speaking with your readers, makes the best kind of book club book?
I would say that most often it's one that deals with a great deal of emotion, that really resonates with a universal truth so that it connects with a lot of people. And oftentimes it's one that has some morally gray area where that is what provokes the conversation, right? That's what gives you something to talk about. So I think that that's kind of what creates a good book club book, is just having those three elements, or, a heavy dose of them makes for a better book.
If you could tell your younger writing self anything, what would it be?
I would probably tell my younger self to relax. I'm pretty intense. I've been a driver. I think I get that from my mother. I'm really opportunity oriented. I love opportunities. I love exploring the world. I love seeing what I can do. And so I would probably just say, relax and enjoy the journey. Everything's going to be fine. But we know that publishing is a bit of a bucking bronco for anybody. So I think when you enter this arena, I think you're justifiably a little nervous that maybe things won't go well, because there's a lot of people I got started publishing with that is no longer even in publishing. So I think I would just say, just relax and enjoy the journey.
Can you tell us anything about the book that you're working on next?
Oh, the One Perfect Summer? Yeah, that one actually is a story that touched my heart a lot because I had a personal connection. My sister found a secret sister through the DNA testing, 23andMe. And so when she sent me a picture of her, I was floored because she looked exactly like my sister. If I saw her walking in a mall, I would think it was my sister. So when she discovered this sister, it just was so interesting to me to see, well, do you decide to contact that person? Do you have a relationship with that person? What does it mean about the past? I mean, it just creates all of these interesting family dynamics. And so I started to think, these, and plus you read about them in the media all the time too, right? About people finding surprising information about the fact that their father isn't their father, or something like that. So I just thought this is really an opportunity for an interesting story, and how it's about three women who take a DNA test. They don't know of each other. They're scattered clear across the country. And so when they find out that they're related and they start communicating online, it becomes, a lot of questions come up. How are we related? Why? How did this come to pass? Do we want to be in each other's lives? So they get together at a cabin in Lake Tahoe to sort of get to know each other and explore some of these questions and try and solve the mystery. And so I had a great time exploring the possibilities and coming up with the perfect ending for the perfect summer.
I'll show everybody the cover for One Perfect Summer.
Isn't it gorgeous?
Beautiful.
Yay.
This is the galley, so it's not the finished book, but you can see the beautiful cover. It's just a wonderful, very thoughtful, but also very escapist, pleasant read. So you really enjoy that this summer. It comes out April 7th.